I always see this too, especially with some of my friends who are on Instagram and they are bigger, right? We were all big. And consistently, I always see on their posts, they go, I love the way they look. I love the way that I am. If you really did, right? And I know these people too, because they struggle with their weight a lot and they're always constantly trying to lose weight. And they're like, I'm perfectly beautiful. Nobody said that you fucking weren't. Nobody, none of our friends, like you clearly don't have like a public account. So who the fuck is telling you that you're not beautiful? It's not us, right? It's not the people that matter in your life that are telling you that. That's something that you're struggling with yourself. And the thing about that is, and I always mention it, the hardest part about fitness is people being honest with themselves. It's like, if you don't like the way you look, then you have the ability to change it. But if you keep trying to convince yourself that you're happy with the way that you are when you're not, that's where it's going to mentally fuck you up.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing these posts constantly, and it's just this long diatribe you see on Instagram, and everybody sees that shit, right?
And no one's going to read it.
Yeah, absolutely not.
You read the first 3 sentences, maybe, and then you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
But do you feel like anybody kind of looked down on you after you lost a lot of weight?
No, I think a lot of people got inspired to lose weight themselves, which is great.
No one's like, I miss the fat David.
Oh, I miss the fat David too, though, sometimes. Yeah. Fat David was pretty fucking cool, man. It's just Fat David was dying. And, Fat David was dying.
See, that's the thing that people don't think about as well, is that they don't think about the consequences of their health.
Yeah.
And it just seems so far away that they're just not worried about it. But it's really sad that it takes a lot of people something like a traumatic event in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Where they're like, well, got to change now.
Yeah.
Because they don't think, and I'm guilty of this as well. Like, you don't think that's going to be you until it happens to you.
Yeah.
And
sometimes too, even when something terrible happens to them, I mean, because it's such a mental thing,
it can go the opposite way. They could just be like, well, fuck it. This is my life. Like that's going to be me forever.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to better themselves. And it's almost easier for you to say, fuck it. Well, this is that.
Yeah.
And this is who I am. This is what it's going to be.
For me, I would almost be okay with somebody understanding the concept of being big is unhealthy, and they're just going to be like, this is how I want to live my life. Then cool. That would be easier for me to handle than me having to sit around and have a conversation with somebody and keep telling me that I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I was like,
yeah, that's rough, because not only, especially if they have a platform.
Yeah.
It enables other people to kind of feel that way.
Yeah, well. and they keep convoluting the concept of being healthy and happy, right? So they keep trying to attach this unhealthy lifestyle as saying, oh, I'm fit and I'm also 100 pounds overweight.
Yep.
Like, that's where it becomes something where I've never ever said that. Even as a big guy, I had, and my friends know this too, my self-esteem was perfectly fine. Like, I loved myself consistently throughout being a big guy my whole life.
But what did you tell me when you first started training with me? You were telling me that you didn't even know you were a fat guy.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You always thought other people were like, oh man, that guy's fat.
Yeah.
And then it took Mariel to say, oh, like
you're a fat person.
Yeah. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of this issue, is that people don't associate these symptoms that they're going through every day, and they're not associating that with bad health.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about how people are like, oh yeah, I have diarrhea every day.
Yeah. And when it's diarrhea every day, it's just called poop.
Straight up.
It's just poop.
And your poops aren't supposed to be that way. And that is a sign of poor gut health or poor digestive health, or the list goes on and on of all these potential symptoms. And these are red flags that people don't think about.
Yeah.
You falling asleep at like 2 p.m. after you eat lunch
is a bad sign.
It's a bad sign. It's not supposed, and you don't have to be a big guy to go through that.
Yeah.
Like, I was going through that too, until I hired my own coaches to keep me accountable for whatever I'm doing. And as soon as they started changing all that for me, and as soon as they kind of showed me that like, yeah, you need to be more conscious of what you're eating. Because to me, when I'm eating, I'm just eating a lot of the times. And this happens to everybody most of the time.
Yeah.
Is that when you're just eating, and then, you get distracted, you're on your phone, you're watching TV, you're doing work, whatever, but you're not connecting to the food, and then you're not associating these feelings that you have after you eat.
Yeah.
Or during your eating And then it becomes a bigger issue.
Food is highly addictive, and that's the thing I couldn't really like wrap my head around.
Yeah.
You know, because I just thought, you know, everybody has to eat. I can't not eat.
Yeah.
And the problem with the way that I was thinking was, number one, I couldn't tell when I was full. Number two, I couldn't tell when I was just completely satiated.
Yeah.
And